again, we were kids at this time. So for us to go and just jump in and playing multiplayer games wasn't really as easy as foretold in our stories. We had to go and try to convince our parents to actually get Wi-Fi. We weren't adults playing these games, which would have been a different story. You could just set it up and get rolling on it.
PC gaming to me was playing on like cartoonnetwork.com and playing those PC games.
Toontown, bro.
Yeah, Toontown or like the Disney Channel games.
For me, I really enjoy this COD. It's fun to play. It's easy to pick up and play for a couple of games, or if you're going to sit down for a long time and play it, especially with the movement. I don't get how people can like the more serious, more running in the mud kind of movement as compared with this COD. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 272 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike.
I'm Justin.
Justin, I would ask on how you're doing.
Yeah.
the past hour. I think I know, but I'll ask anyway. How are you doing?
For the people, not doing well. I mean, it's all like work-related stuff. I won't even get into it, but not doing well. Got some bad news. Unfortunate news, I will say, but
nothing that you did.
Nothing that I did.
Yeah. You were fine. This is something that was way out of control. Something with work. It does suck. But we did go on a good tirade about it, which I think is important because what we got at the end of the day, be grateful.
Yeah.
have to be grateful for what we have and realize that things could always be worse.
It could always be much, much worse.
Yeah, which I would say too, going off of that quickly, that is something that definitely a lot of people need to realize, like not forget about like whether it's life or gaming or anything, bro, things could be much worse,
Yeah.
So you have to what you'd said earlier was funny is like we're in the good times right now, and enjoy the good times. I'm like, bro, we say the same thing about Black Ops 7. We're in the good times right now. Enjoy them when they're around, I think back even when talking, like shifting off of that, like thinking about gaming is I wonder back in the day, like when people had to be gaming at, like I don't know, there was an actual game store, like having to go to the arcade and be playing games back then. I wonder if there was anyone back in the day who was pissed off about that because they're like, bro, I have to go and drive to this whole place. Like, can't I just do this at home? And I wonder if that thought was the start of people trying to make consoles at home, that people could have. I wonder how all of that started because it had to start out of laziness. Somebody didn't want to go there anymore and was over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or they're thinking, how do I get this into everyone's home for everyone to play, or selfishly for that one person to play? Because obviously they started off with single player games and share the experience with other people like split screen games. Then it evolved into online.
Yeah. And I even think back when online gaming started, because that probably wasn't even a thought back in the in the 80s and the 90s. Maybe it was, but it was not something that was readily available, obviously, because internet wasn't really like popularized yet. But there had to have been a point too where it was kind of dope just in the world that they had. And then when online gaming came, which even on the PS2, that was not that popular. That was like that next window that people were thinking like, oh, bro, we don't even have to link up for LAN parties anymore. We could just go and do this all from like, if we all have consoles, we all have the same game, we could just do it that way. Like that definitely had to have been a peak moment when they were first talking about just playing online games and explaining that concept to people,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's like the Stranger Things summer. I don't know if you've watched all the Stranger Things. Won't even get into that because that's a touchy subject for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I love the show. The way they ended it was fine. But people like hated it. But either way, I thought they wrapped it up like they could have wrapped it up better. But
yeah.
That show, it's based in the 80s, like that an 80s summer, you're going to like a festival or whatever, and it's a summer, you're all going hanging out with your friends at an arcade, you're all just out, and then it evolved into us being inside and like playing with our friends online, and it wasn't that long ago, you know, in the 2000s when online happened. I mean, I remember when Xbox Live was a thing because I had the original Xbox and I didn't know what it was. Then I realized you have to pay for it. I didn't pay for it. Like my first online console was the PS3, and that was I don't even remember when I got my PS3. It wasn't even at launch. It was like seventh grade or eighth grade, something like that.
Yeah, because what MW3 was what 2011.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it had to have been like right and around that time.
yeah. I probably got it
Yeah.
around like 2010. Yeah, 2010 sounds right. Because I
Yeah,
was
so
playing. Yeah, yeah,
we're born in 98. Yeah, so you're 12, 13 years old. Yeah, we were in 7th grade around then.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which
that would
is
line up.
that's crazy. Because I definitely, yeah, 2010 sounds right because I didn't even have like internet until then.
Right,
Literally, like I
right.
didn't have Wi-Fi or anything because we never needed it. Um, and then I remember like talking to my parents, like the concept of it. They're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "We need Wi-Fi, a router."
Dude. I laugh because I had to like I want you to continue with it because I had the exact same experience with my dad. He was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, because
Like,
like I mean, my experience was later, probably than like most kids, just because my parents literally had no idea what I was talking about. Um,
mhm,
but I spun it off as well. If we have a computer, we need Wi-Fi so we can connect to it. Um, because in the apartment that we lived in, we did have like a tower, but it was connected through like the landline or something, like the old phones.
mhm.
Um, and then when we moved, we just never got internet. We just had cable. So yeah, I had to explain it to my parents, and it was all because I wanted an iPod Touch for Christmas, and I got it, and I was like, I can't play any games. Like I can't go and watch YouTube or anything.
Right,
So
right.
I told them like, hey, we got to get Wi-Fi for school. We need to get this like router installed.
Dude, I remember the same thing, like, not to the full extent, but it's when you brought up that whole thing regarding the tower or something, I remember there was some system that was in place where my dad the only like, he had to access, because he worked from home at the time, which revolutionary back in the day.
Yeah.
He he had this, his like QuickBooks, like for all his invoices and everything that he do through his work, and he had to have connection to be doing all of this. But it was only upstairs in his office that he had
Mhm.
this. And then when you could start to get Wi-Fi in homes or get routers and everything like that, and like hooking stuff up, I had like trying to explain to him that like I want to have my PlayStation to be doing this, you know? And
Mhm.
he was just like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Why do you need that?" Because he was worried. Well, no, I don't. If there's people online, I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
them to hack my my QuickBooks and hack all my system. I'm like, "Nah, man, that's not how it works. Trust me." And he just kept telling me, "No, I don't know about that."
Yeah.
And it took him convincing to eventually be thinking, "Okay, this is something completely separate." But bro, the fact that we had to go through that, we're pre Wi-Fi, dude.
Yeah,
You
yeah, we
know,
are. Yeah.
like, there's people who game that are just they're like, "What are you talking about, dude? We're pre consoles." You
Mhm.
know, just having to
Yeah.
go anywhere, wherever they had gaming stations set up where you could go and do that. Or prior to it, when you wanted to go and play split screen or have a LAN party, yeah, you'd have to go to someone's house and set everything up. But then and like we're a little bit past that generation, I think. I think the people who did that are probably 30 to 32, somewhere
Mhm.
around there, maybe a little bit older, but we were right when we started gaming, at least we didn't need to be, having LAN parties and whatnot, but we would still always link up to game.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
would go over to your house or you go to my house all the time and we would just play, but we wouldn't usually play split screen games though, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Like we grew up. I mean, I remember when I first got my PS3, I played single player games all for a whole year because I didn't know, like I didn't have internet or anything. So I beat Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and all my trophies are on a separate account. Like complete, like to this day, my account, my email is tied to that old account, and I have no idea how to recover it and get it.
Yeah.
I'm on a whole separate account now, which is crazy to think about. Like all the trophies and stuff I had on that old account, and now I just don't have those games.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we grew up in a good time. I mean, my first introduction to gaming was handheld, so I mean, I would just have like a Game Boy or a DS like at all times, and then yeah, I think we started playing online. Yeah, like PS3, but I remember going over my cousin's house and stuff and playing split screen all the time.
Yeah. Do you remember your first experience when you went online and were playing an online match? Like, do you remember what that
Yes.
was like?
Yeah, it
Yeah?
was it was MW3 because I got that game for Christmas. Actually, no, it wasn't for Christmas. It was Black Friday sale. Yes, we had to go in. I didn't get it at launch. I went in on Black Friday because I knew it was on sale. Went and got it. Um, and that was my first ever experience uh, online. Wait, no, I'm completely wrong. That was my first experience with MW3. It was MW2, and it was on Afghan. That was my first ever Call of Duty match. Um, and I got cooked like bad. Like I didn't know what online was, so I joined and I loaded in, and I had the little like Bluetooth mic with awful quality, and I didn't know what it was, so like I muted myself, but I could hear people talking. And I was like, "What are these? Like, who are these people? How are they talking?" I was so confused.
Dude, I remember setting up the mic for the first time and being able to talk to my friends online. I remember playing World at War. This is my friend Corey, and I was absolutely mind blown that I was talking to him like while he was at his house and
Mhm.
like in downtown, and here I am playing. And he had to walk me through the whole thing. I didn't know what any of these modes were. I'm like, bro, what is team deathmatch? What is this? What is this? You know?
Mm.
And there was something that was really nice about it, though, when I look back on it and how
Mhm.
simple it was. But there are a couple of things for sure. Dude, the Bluetooth mics, the mics back in the day, that shit that I'm glad I'm done with. Being able
Yeah.
to try to people trying to like set up, my connection so I could go and use this thing to connect with people and talk, and the quality was so bad. It was like that MW2 mic quality that you hear all the time. It was just
Mhm.
that 24/7, you know? And that yeah, it's still ingrained in my memory, but those are things when I look back on now, having gamed pretty much every year since then in my life, that's stuff that I look back on, and I'm glad we moved past that.
Yeah.
Tho
Yeah.
those are things that we don't we're talking from our last episode, we talked a bit about nostalgia. Those are I don't see anybody buying up those old Bluetooth mics, bro.
No, yeah, those things were dude, it was awful. It was an actual Bluetooth earpiece with
Yeah.
a little mic, and yeah, I remember that match specifically, the Afghan map, and then my first ever match playing online with friends. It was like my friends Joe and John. First time ever playing with them, and it was on uh what is the map? Subbase.
Sub bass.
That was the first time ever. And Joe dropped an AC 130. I'm like, this guy's insane. Like, this is crazy. And my first experience to Call of Duty in general was it was MW2 when the game first came out, but it was over a friend's house. And we were playing on derail, and it was three of us trying to fight for the house in derail, like the small little house all the way on the outskirts.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this is a cool game. I didn't know what Call of Duty was, had no idea what the point of the game was, but that was my experience, just fighting for that house.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And then I was hooked.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, man, there's so many I had to look it up right now while you were talking because I couldn't remember the name of the map. Like sharing it is there was a map in World at War and I just found it was Macon. That was the name
Macon.
of the
I know
Yeah,
Macon.
Macon.
Yeah.
There was Macon Day, or it was just
Mhm.
called Macon, and then there was Macon Night. And I remember playing on it was Macon Night. That was the first time I ever played it, and when I loaded in, I was like, "Dude, this is the campaign? This is the
Yeah.
campaign?" 'Cause that's the first mission in the World of Wars campaign, and my friend had to go and explain to me, he's like, "Dude, this ain't the campaign though, bro. This is like
Yeah.
this is its own thing. Like, we have to go and kill these people." And I was like, "Where are they, dude? Where are they?" He's like, "Bro,
Yeah.
we have to go. We have to." Bro, I was such a herb. I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on, bro. The most embarrassing thing I remember too is looking at the gun. It was the MP40 and there was the extended magazine. And I
Mhm.
kept telling him, like, dude, do I have to buy a magazine? Like, like a legitimate
Yeah.
magazine. He's like, what? He's like, "Bro, no, no." Again, you talk about beginner, noob. I had absolutely no idea what multiplayer was in gaming.
Mhm.
I did not understand the concept, but, um, it's good looking back on those moments because when I think about it now, playing that, that's a core memory that I'll always remember, you
Mhm.
know? And
Well,
thinking
that
about, like, your end too, bro, playing MW2 first game as your like, in its prime when everyone was grinding it,
Mhm.
it's insane to think
W
about.
Yeah. It was towards the tail end. I remember
Oh,
playing it.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But,
But still,
it
it was the game.
yeah, it was a game, yeah. It was I got it for it was, like, a little after Christmas or something. But, yeah, I mean, I remember playing that. The fact that we still remember these memories, they're just, like, locked deep into our brain somewhere. We lived through a good time, and my order of COD was it was MW2, and then I didn't even know what COD was, like I said, and I didn't know there were other maps. I didn't know what the concept of COD was. Online, I'm like, there are other maps that I have to play on, and I have to go and hunt these people. Um, and I remember playing the campaign, and I was so scared. Dude, it took me forever to beat the campaign because I didn't want to move, especially through the ones where you're in the snow. Like you can't see anything. I'm just there like whispering, like
Yeah.
crouching, trying to figure out like where to go. And
Mhm.
then they just start screaming at me.
Yeah, dude, those games we had I think we had said this in an earlier episode, but those games, the fact that people won't experience MW2, MW3, World at War, COD 4, Black Ops 2, any of those games, period, or just in general, they didn't experience them in their prime is such a travesty. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I think as a gamer, those are like flagship games that you need to have played at some point and have lived through for you to kind of get the cred being like, okay, yeah, dude, you definitely have been playing COD for a minute. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wonder now for the people listening, if you have kids, if they're around, the age that we were talking about, like 10, 11, and they're playing single player games now, I wonder if they're still, they act the same way. Or these kids are just they act older than they actually are now, you know?
Right.
Mm. Because yeah, when I look back, I was a child, dude. I mean, I remember when the first Black Ops came out, and everybody was talking about it. I didn't understand COD came out every year. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just bought this game. Now I have to get a new one. And I remember getting it for Christmas. I played it. Oh no, no, it wasn't for Christmas. I went over a friend's house, played Black Ops. We 1v1, kicked my ass, and I thought I was good at COD because I was good at MW2. I didn't realize that Black Ops was a different game. The movement was different, and I hated it. I was like, why would anyone play this? This sucks. And like, yeah, we 1v1 on Nuketown, and he destroyed me. I've told you the story, but
And you still haven't 1v1'd him back, bro.
yeah. But because of him, he is the reason why like I got into competitive and got super into it
Yeah.
because he kicked my ass, and I told myself that's never happening again.
Right. Well, and to that point, Um, back then, because playing online and multiplayer, it was becoming a big thing already. I think for people listening to it, again, we were kids at this time. So for us to go and just jump in and playing multiplayer games wasn't really as easy, as foretold in our stories. We had to go and try to, convince our parents to actually get Wi-Fi. It wasn't like we weren't adults playing these games, which would have been a different story. You could just set it up and get rolling on it. But and I wonder with a lot of people relating to this because online gaming was something that we got to later. I grew up playing PS1 and PS. I didn't have a PS1, but I would go over to my friend's house and play it. But I grew up playing PS2 single player games and played a lot of single player PS3 before I got to multiplayer. But now I don't know if people, when they're kids just starting off playing, if they even they just jump right to multiplayer games. They skip
Yeah.
over the single player games,
Yeah.
where for us, we didn't really have an option. You had to play single player games. And then when it became accessible on the 360 and the PS3, then you actually really had an option to play online.
Yeah. I mean, you would know better. I mean, like, you worked with students, like, these kids, I mean, they're
Bro, they all
talking
play
about,
Valorant.
yeah, Valorant, like, even, like, younger, like, Roblox and stuff. It's all
Oh
online.
yeah. Yeah,
You hop
yeah.
in and which I can understand if you're a parent now. That's it's pretty fucking weird. Okay, like I understand why our parents were hesitant too, because like, what do you mean you need Wi-Fi? Like, what is this router to connect
Right.
online? Like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even know what I was getting into, and I turn my mic on, and people are talking to me that I random ass people that I don't even know. Like, imagine like convincing your parents that. Like, I get why they were hesitant about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And I think that has shifted as the time has gone on
Yeah,
because yeah, to your point, the people who are the casuals, they'll say they play Roblox, which again is all online.
yeah,
And then the people who are relatively serious, they all have PCs and they all play Valorant, which to me is just insane. First off, bro, you have a PC
yeah,
and you play competitive Valorant, you're 13.
yeah.
It's just mental to me. Like none, I say none of them, but a lot of the kids that I work with, whenever I talk to them about gaming, they don't have consoles. They
Mhm.
just all play on PC, which is crazy because even like the people that I'm around in that area, they're not super rich kids who just I have a $3,000 PC or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just become the mainstay that yeah, if you're gonna game, you probably game on like a laptop or a tablet. That's your idea of gaming. Or if you're serious, you already have a tower
mhm.
and you're playing, yeah, you're playing Valorant or you're playing CS or whatever. The whole landscape of gaming when you start off now is so different than it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, dude, PC gaming to me was playing on, like, CartoonNetwork.com and playing those PC games.
Toontown, bro.
Yeah, Toontown or, like, the Disney Channel games, and I remember, my PC game, like, playing I went over a friend's house, and it was a disc. It was a Harry Potter game on PC, and we had to download it onto his parents' computer, and we were just flying around. That was it. Well, we didn't even know what we were supposed to do. That was my PC gaming as a kid, but other than that, it was all console, and I can't even imagine parents nowadays, like, because they know what the internet is, and your kid is just thrown online into Roblox, which, yes, I'd say mainly kids are playing it, but then you get like a weird, creepy old dude that's playing it. How do you control that? Oh, and that's like
Right.
a whole separate conversation, but it's just
Yeah.
crazy how much gaming has changed from, when we were growing up. Because I'd say we went through the prime, right? We got to experience the single player games and now multiplayer and online. But to your point with the extended mags, I feel like that's a fair question around that time because,
Bro.
dude, when I played Pokemon, if anyone that played Pokemon back in the day, if you wanted exclusive Pokemon, like legendary Pokemons, they would hold events at GameStop. Like, hey, they would post it in the paper or they would have it outside the store in the mall. If you want this Pokemon, this legendary Pokemon, you have to come to GameStop at this day, and then they give you a code, and they take your game and they download it, like onto your Game Boy or whatever, then now you have the DLC to go get this Pokemon, which is crazy.
bro.
That's what you have
This
to
yeah,
do.
people today, kids today, not built for that. Ain't
Yeah,
no
no.
chance. Ain't no yeah, they're gonna be missing all that stuff, you know? But part of it too with it is, man, I again, the only computer that we had in the house was my dad's. And
Mhm.
I ain't going on YouTube on that, bro.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
during the day. Like, dude, he's working. I would sneak onto that at night and I would watch stuff, like watch like as I was, you know, I was getting into guitars, I'd watch guitar stuff. Or I like, but I'd watch some gaming things.
Mhm.
But pretty rarely or only at night that I watch it. So I couldn't just look this stuff up like, "Oh, what's an extended mag? How do you get this?"
Yeah,
Whatever. I had no idea, you know? And yeah, I wasn't on TikTok scrolling for how-to tips and all this stuff.
yeah.
It was a different world. To think that back then PlayStation like there was a real rivalry like between PlayStation and Xbox. They were both the kings. Nobody like people thought about PC gaming, but it was like on another realm. It was kind of on its own little island, but
Mhm.
everybody was invested in PlayStation and Xbox. And then I saw today, bro, Xbox is out here giving double XP codes to people who bought Black Ops 7. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they've gone so far back.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, please play our console, please play it.
Mhm.
We'll give you codes if you do it. It's wild to see how the landscape has changed in honestly such a short time, you know. And this is
Yeah,
off the back of all of the especially like related to Xbox, a bunch of the Xbox news that's been going on, which we'll get into with Game Pass. And like I just said there too, they did a redesign of the logo, which is a W, but you can see that they're really trying to scrap together to make sure things kind of go back to the way that we remember them. But it's
yeah,
crazy how that's changed in such a short time.
yeah. Are we gaming unks? Like, we're not boomers because we didn't play, like, way before the 2000s or, like, yeah, the early 2000s we didn't play. That was, like, the web era, and,
Yeah.
I mean I've been playing games for a while, but on my Game Boy, Nintendo. I remember playing, on the NES that my dad's, like, friend gave us, and all we had was Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros. That was it.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, like, it was just Nintendo for me, and I was a big Pokemon guy. So, like, I have a bunch of Pokemon stuff. But yeah, my first real console was my own console was a PS3. So like
Yeah.
we are gaming unks because I before that I remember the PS1 and the PS2 because my cousin had it. And I would go over his house and we would play SVR, SmackDown versus Raw for people that don't know. But I play like SVR 06, 08, just all night staying over his house.
Yeah, I think, when I was watching Scum stream, it came up where they're like, When you're Unk,"
Mhm.
and I think it was Scump who said 28, which had
Yeah.
me fucking shaking, bro. I
Shake.
was like, no shot." Methods is like, "Nah, no chance." He's like, "It's 30. 30 is definitely what it is," which I'm like, "Okay, I'll
Yeah.
take that." I got 2 more years until I'm at that level. But, yeah, I think, the time that we were in was it really was the sweet spot of gaming. I don't think we're at that level where, yeah, we're real old heads because there's a whole era of gaming that we did not really go through.
Mhm.
But I will always stand firm that if you were born from 95 to 2000, somewhere in that era, you really were able to experience gaming in its prime. You could probably go back to like 1990 and
Mhm.
onward. Um, but I think those were definitely the prime years to be involved in gaming because every industry was popping off. PlayStation was doing their thing, same thing with Xbox. Nintendo was doing their thing. In the PC realm, again, you had a whole bunch of like exclusives there, like people who were all into The Sims at the time. You could be rocking out on that, playing RuneScape. All those games
Oh man,
were
RuneScape. That
top
just
of the
brought me
line.
back.
Yeah, bro, you could play all those games,
Mhm.
and every console had their reason to go there, you know?
Mhm.
And same thing with Xbox, they had Halo that was just, killing at the time, and everybody was obsessed about it. That for sure was a prime window to be playing,
Mhm.
but if you were born 2012, I mean, it's crazy to think about
So
that, but
2010s and on.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
born
yeah.
2010s and on, like that. That to me is a way different because everything's done. Like
Yeah, everything's online. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, like
everything's online, and that's kind of the move going forward now.
yeah, like if you think about Scrappy or Scrap, for example, dude, he was playing COD at like 3 or something like that.
Yeah, psycho.
I mean, it's crazy. Well, when you said RuneScape, dude, I remember like I would sneak onto the computer late at night. I would wait for my parents to go to sleep. I would sneak downstairs all the way to the basement and hop onto the PC and like play RuneScape. And this is how old we are, but I didn't have a mic. Like I didn't know how to connect a mic to a computer. Uh, so we would use a chat in
Hell
RuneScape. We
yeah.
would type to each other. And I was playing with my friend John and Joe, and didn't know what RuneScape was, but I was popping, and I was like, "Where's my house?" So I like they gave me a house or whatever, and they said, "Oh, come with me to to the woods or something like that." Dude, they brought me out into the woods and just like killed me. I was like, "What the heck?" I lost everything. I respawned and I had to go back and get everything. And see, this is where I got pissed. So I logged off. Next day, I had to go to school. I confronted them. I was like, "Why'd you kill me?" And they were just laughing. Like I couldn't get an instant reaction. They're just typing in the
Right.
chat. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and like even then, like I remember, all right, we didn't want to use the chat. We would call each other on the landline
Mhm.
and just like talk on the phone the whole time
Yeah,
while playing live.
yeah. Nah, dude, that I've been there, done that, same thing. Mom comes over, she's bullshit with me. Get off the
Yeah,
phone.
get off. Yeah.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll play it also to remember moments. I'm playing Verruct. I'll never forget that. I'm playing Verruct. We're around like 24 or something like that. I'm playing with this guy. He had to have been. I wish I remembered the guy's name. He was from the UK. He had to have been like 18 or something like that. He had to have
Mhm.
been way older. But for some reason we would play together. We play zombies. Dude, it's like round 20, like, in the 20s, 23, 24. We're frying. Mom, dinner's ready. You gotta be fucking kidding
Yeah,
me.
pause the game.
I was
You
like, "Not
can't.
right now, mom." She's like, "I don't give a fuck. Turn that shit off." She I was so bad. I started crying. I was a bitch. I was like, "You kidding me?" I hope people still go through that shit. That was the worst of all time. I was like, "There's no way this is real." I'm through one of the best moments of all time in my gaming career here. I'm thinking that I'm the shit at like round 22, 23, and then I'm getting cut down by mom.
Yeah,
Like, bro, that again, most people have felt that before, or they've
yeah,
gotten a
yeah.
console taken away or something like that. But again, some of these kids today, bro, they just play all the time, unsupervised. I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
playing online, it ain't the same. You got S tier mic quality.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they've had the experience of, dinner's ready, you gotta pause the game. You can't pause in a
Nah,
round
man.
round 6.
My dad's like, "What you mean?"
Yeah, yeah. Then your parents come up and then, yeah, alright, they just power off the PC.
Yeah, it's online, bro.
Yeah. Um, yeah, we grew up in a great time.
Yeah, definitely, and it's again, I've said before, to see where it is now and to think back on you're saying our first COD World at War for you playing MW2, and then thinking where we are now, it's always wild to see where our game has gone, that we're on Black Ops 7 and there's MW4 that's, rumored around the corner, and
Mhm.
this is, like, the first MW4 after we've had a rehash of MW1 through 3.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. This is
I
COD 4.
we couldn't have ever imagined that that's what we would be talking about like 10 years from now, but this is where we're at. And I'd say with this too, some of the news that we had talked about last week we can get into regarding Xbox, and we talked about MW4 and the battle pass situation, or game pass, forgive me. And it just came out too regarding the Game Pass situation and overhaul that they're going through. They are going to lower the price of Game Pass, which is a big plus for all the Xbox people. But if you're a Call of Duty fan, what they're doing is they're going to be putting that year's COD on there a year later after it's been released, um, which for sure sent shockwaves through the Xbox COD community because that is some grade A horseshit. That
Yeah.
sucks. I mean, it sucks if you're, you're gonna be on Game Pass, and that's part of what you expect, but, um, I don't know, I wanted to ask you what you think about that they're gonna be putting them on a year after. Do you think that's gonna be good down the line, or do you think that really just is gonna screw over this COD even more than it already has? MW4, I mean.
Oh, I mean, I think it'll screw over MW4 more. I mean, at this point, right? Like, Call of Duty needs as many people playing it as possible, and if you make the game free, I guess with Game Pass, people are just going to play it. Granted, I think no matter how much people shit on COD, no matter how much people don't like COD, there's going to be a large majority of people that still buy the game just to play it for a couple days. Um, and that's probably what will happen. But I mean, I'm not surprised that they're adding COD a year later, right? I mean, PlayStation kind of does this. They have uh, not new games, but on the different tiers that they have, they like revamp it and add a couple new games. I think it's too good to be true to get like AAA games through Game Pass when um, the game comes out like that year. I mean, that'd be fantastic. That's a great deal, right? Like if you're paying, I don't even know how much it is, but let's say if you're paying $50 a month, which is a decent amount, and you're getting a decent amount of brand new games every year, and you're actually going to play them, that's a pretty good deal. If
Yeah.
you're gaming a lot.
So they had it at 30 originally, and now with this change here, they're gonna have it down to 22.99, so $23 a month,
Mhm.
which trying to balance it out, thinking about it, yeah, obviously that's a step in the right direction. It's not too bad. But I don't really know what what the overall goal is with trying to, pull Call of Duty on it and then have them off of it. Obviously, to your point, which, yeah, if you have it on there, of course, people are going to be playing it. And that kind of artificially inflates the numbers because, yeah, if anything's free, people are going to be playing it.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it's going to be just tough for Call of Duty down the line because I don't know how many people are going to be wanting to pay $70 for that game up front.
Mhm.
Especially with the track record that they've had, because there's people for sure who, bought Black Ops 7 at 70 and feel that they got burned on it. And I can understand why, why you may feel that way, especially if you want to look at it as a complete package, which, um, I would say in all reality, Black Ops 7 is not. The campaign is incredibly lacking, which is like, always been a tenet of Call of Duty.
Mhm.
But I don't think I don't think keeping it on the Game Pass, you know, I don't think it's not a win-win for COD either way they go. If they keep it on there, sure, it looks good that people are gonna be playing it, but when they take it off too, maybe they'll get a real idea of how many people actually buy their game and actually play the game, which
Yeah.
they may need those numbers because I don't know if they've had them for a while with COD being on the Game Pass. People probably just use that obviously for Xbox.
I mean, like COD has bigger problems than deciding if they should be on Game Pass or not at this point. Like, if you just make a really good game, people are going to buy it no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's on Game Pass or not. Um, and I mean, MW4, what the rumor is, it's supposed to be in Korea. This COD has to bang. It has to be so good. Where I mean, like you and I are going to buy it. I'm always going to be excited for the new COD. That's just who I am. And I'm always going to buy it and like play it. But Black Ops 7, I think I got my money's worth out of it. I definitely did. I mean, I hit master. It's been a lot of fun. I played it way more than Black Ops 6. Um, but again, like it's because you and I really like these type of games. And I would say most casual fans, for whatever reason, hate this game. and I guess a lot of other people do too, because it's not like a Modern Warfare. Um, and some people may say that you and I are the problem of why COD is dead, which I would completely disagree with. But
You dude, I just won't. I won't concede on the fact that Black Ops games are just better than Modern Warfare games. Like straight up, dude. I mean,
yeah,
I really as of late with the way they've been trending, because I've seen people talk about going back to the Modern Warfare style movement, like MW 2019, which
mm,
fuck that. Like
yeah,
absolutely, if MW4 has that, I'll be so pissed.
yeah,
But if it has MW3, I'll take it. It's like an evolution of that style. Um, but I'll tell you, I was playing yesterday, playing Black Ops 7, and I played for a good couple hours. Man, that game is just still it's always so fun to play, in
mm,
my opinion. With the maps that they've been adding and playing them again, like any whether the remakes or any of the new maps that they'd added, it's just for me, I really enjoy this COD. It's fun to play. It's easy to pick up and play for a couple of games, or if you're going to sit down for a long time and play it. Um, I just don't really get, especially with the movement, I don't get how people can like the more serious, more like, running in the mud kind of
mm,
movement as compared with this COD. Because like when I see all the pros talking about like the NPC and running around with that, which I mean, for cat, like we've been using that for a minute,
mm,
that's an insanely good gun. When I go and pick that gun up and I'm flying around with it, there's really no better feeling. And you just can't get that feeling on an Infinity Ward game. It's way harder to get this super fast, flowy kind of a movement that you've always had with the Treyarch games.
yeah, yeah,
I don't understand that divide with COD players.
yeah. And I mean, like, I think you it says a lot too, because you and I, we haven't been grinding together at all in this COD, and we
No.
play separately and we just have fun. So could you imagine if we're grinding together all the time and we're enjoying COD like we used to back in the day, you know? I'm with you. I mean, if MW4 is, I would say like MW3, just take the tax sprint out and maybe speed up the game a little bit. Like I thought the gunplay with MW3 was fun, with the
Yeah, I agree.
the MCR. I think that's what it was. Or oh no, MDW. I forget what the AR was.
I got no idea. I forget.
It's an M something.
And let me see if I
MCW.
can try to
MCW. That has to be it. That
MCW.
sounds right.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
The MCW, I mean, yeah, when you would pop 3 people, like I got like some dope from it.
Yeah,
But in Black Ops 7, when I pop 3, you can hear the ding 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 out of
yeah,
the weapons. I'm like, okay, that's what I want. Um, but if MW4, it goes back to that MW3 style, remove tax sprint, and they speed it up a little bit. I mean, I'll be happy. I like personally, I don't care what engine it's on as long as it just flows. I mean, I can understand the Black Ops versus Modern Warfare series. Like, I don't think you can compare, especially after the original MW3. You just
right.
can't. And all the jetpacks era, I think you just got to take that and move it somewhere else, push it over there because it's just different CODs. But I mean, Black Ops 1 was good, even though I didn't play it that much, but I enjoyed that game. Black Ops 2, arguably like one of the greatest Call of Duties in a lot of people's eyes. BO3 we loved with jetpacks. Black Ops 4, god tier game. I don't care what other people say. Uh, and then Black Cold War, fantastic game. That's probably like the most fun you and I have had in a COD in a while, like outside of Black Ops 7. Um, then yeah, Black Ops 6. I mean, kind of a miss. Like it was enjoyable, but you and I just did. It was a lot of stuff happening that year, and it was all right. But then Black Ops 7, it's a refined BO6. It's way better than BO6.
Yeah,
And I don't get how you can look at MW19, like not even going all the way back, MW19, MW22, and then MW23. You're telling me those stack up against the other games. There's no way.
Yeah, and the track record too for both the games for me are totally different in the sense that there's people who would say, and they're right, with Treyarch, with the campaign, absolute
Yeah.
disaster, and most people probably flag the game down because of that. Which that's where I can understand where you're coming from, but I don't agree because if you are a big time multiplayer person, you should try to look past that. But you don't forget it, for sure. It's an absolute travesty. But when it comes to MW3, I won't forget that MW3 was really a $70 DLC. I won't forget
Yeah.
that. And it was good. It was a good game, but it was not worth $70, not even remotely for the effort and what actually, was put into that game. It was not even close to being a new title.
Mhm.
And I think because of that, that whole side of Call of Duty, like the Sledgehammer IW kind of a thing, it really has left a bad taste in my mouth, and that's why I've always stuck with Treyarch, and I'm going to stay with them when it comes to Call of Duty. So when it comes to MW4, I really wonder what they're gonna do. How much effort and time are they really gonna put into this game into making it what the series needs?
Mhm. Well, and I hope that going back to originally what COD was, the COD cycle, rotating developers every year versus going back to back years helps because I mean it's very clear that from MW2 to MW3, MW3 was better, and then Black Ops 6 to Black Ops 7, Black Ops 7 was better. The game after that was always better because it was more refined.
Right.
And are they really willing to risk a whole year of COD for people to like hate it, and then the next one is actually a lot better. Even though I would say MW2 ranked, you and I probably had the most fun in that versus MW3 ranked, but we MW3 ranked was fun because it was smoother and it was on somewhat new maps, a couple new maps.
Right.
Uh
When we ended up getting them in.
yeah, eventually, right?
Right.
And same with Black Ops 7. I mean, Black Ops 7's adding a lot of new remastered maps, but they're good. They're like providing them, And the maps in the game now, they're not bad. Um, so yeah, MW4, maybe hopefully it's a great game. And when they release it, it's a good break from Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 to MW4. But yeah, the movement, if it's similar to MW3, I'll take it. But they just can't have tax front. Man, they cannot add that back. If they just add a smooth Call of Duty again, I'm fine with that.
Now, I was thinking about this earlier, and I want to know what your thoughts are on it because this week too, as we were recording this, or last week, I should say, um, the Assassin's Creed like reveal trailer or gameplay trailer got launched for Black Flag, and
Resynced.
everybody, yeah, resynced for,
Yeah.
yeah, and everybody knows that you, or if you're into gaming, Ubisoft is like down in the dumps. They've made a handful of games back to back now in the AC lineup that just suck. Very similar to Call of Duty. But now they've put this resynced out, and I'm hyped for it. I don't know where you're at on it. I think a lot of people are really excited to be playing this game. I'll definitely be playing it because the effort that you can visually see and also
Mhm.
hearing from them, they put their time in with this, and it looks good. And it's off of a game that was so good, which they know damn well, and they're trying to tap into that, which I think for them is such a smart move. You pull on people's heartstrings, but you do it right. You do it with the respect that it
Mhm.
deserves. And you're like, all the fans see that and they're like, you know what? Ubisoft might be onto something. They might have actually done it. And people are excited about their games once again, especially with this coming out this year. And it's going to be, which I thought was crazy, that when GTA 5 came out in 2013, Assassin's Creed Black Flag was also coming out that year. So here we are again, fucking 13 years
Yeah.
later, and the same thing's happening again. But where I was going with this, and I want to know your thoughts on is I wonder if COD needs a reset like that. For a
Mhm.
year, they do a Black Ops 2, they do one of the goated games, but they do it right. And that's their reset because people aren't when we go in MW4, I mean, we don't know anything about it other than like its setting, really. So it's kind of a roll of the dice. But if you know, oh yeah, it's going to be Black Ops 2, but they're doing it this way, this is how it's going to be, you can already make your decision if you're gonna be hyped for it, and I would bet that most people would be hyped about a game like that, you know? Do you think that they should do that, Call of Duty? Or do you
I
think
mean,
that's just forget it?
they would have to do it r right. Like, they don't have room for mistakes anymore. They
Yeah.
remastered, well, they made MW2, they made MW3. People forgot, a bunch of the younger kids, that was probably their first MW2, MW3. That sucks. For all the people like us that play the OG ones, those are nothing like the old ones. They would have to do it right with Ubisoft the way that they're doing it. I mean, I wonder how much the game's going to be. I really hope they don't launch it at 70, but I would understand if they do because, okay, my thing, I don't buy remastered games because they're just rest up. But this game is not a remaster. This game is a complete rebuild in this game. Which that I can totally get behind. I was excited when I saw it in the comparisons, um, because they went
$60.
back. Yeah, see, I'll take that. That's fair. It's a complete rebuild. Obviously, the quality, the resolution is like so much better. The graphics are way better, but they added stuff into this game, meaning they redid the combat system to make it more adaptable to current Assassin's Creeds, which some people might hate, but I like that because Black Flag, I mean, it was so easy to counter. You just wait, someone attacks, counter, counter, they're dead, and you just parry the whole time. But combat changed. I like how some people might hate this, like the really stealthy people, but in the eavesdrop missions, if you get heard, it's an auto fail. Now it's not an auto fail. You can just go and assassinate them, like cause chaos, whatever. I like that balance. Some people might hate it, but it allows you to play different ways, and the mechanics for battling other ships, they changed that too. And I think they changed a couple of the missions, like here and there. Um, so I'm all for it. It looks great. I'll probably get my hands on it at some point, but this makes the way that they're doing it makes sense. It's a complete rebuild. I also saw too that they brought in the original developers of AC4. So that I can totally get behind. You went to the people that created, one of the best Assassin's Creed games and brought them onto this project to help with the rebuild, not just, all right, let's reskin this and remaster it, make it look nicer, and it's completely different, developers.
Yeah, and I feel that if COD did that and had that backing behind it and people found out that, yeah, they brought in some of the OG people from, well, we'll say like Black Ops 2, for example, um, and they're really doing a labor of love with this remake and not a remaster. Like again, it's a full remake here of this game where they kind of have to just they have the template already, but they need to start from the ground up, add some new things that should have been added. And ideally, what like the way that I heard that game with Black Flag Resync be described is make the game how those guys wish they could have made the game,
Hmm.
which to me was like, yeah, that's perfect because time, money, technology, all that had a constraint. But now, if that's not really something to worry about, you can flesh that game out to the level that it should have been, or mistakes that maybe were in the game that you didn't want, pull them out and just, either replace it with something or don't replace it. Um, I think if Call of Duty did something like that, where they did a full remake of a game like Black Ops 2 or the original Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, like they did with COD 4 when IW came out, I think that would be a really good reset for Call of Duty. That would gain people's trust back with it, get them playing it. They know what they're getting into off rip. Um, and then from there, they can maybe start to follow that thread, or at least they now have an audience that knows about Call of Duty if they didn't before, and they're relatively excited about it because COD had a good year. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah,
I think that'd be a good move for them personally.
yeah, they just have to be very, very careful with that. I mean,
Yes, yes.
Black Ops 2 is their holy grail for a lot of people. If they fuck that up, it's over, dude. I
That's the
mean,
only worry.
with MW2, MW3, that's how people felt. I know it wasn't a complete like remaster, it was new games, but man, I would love a rebuild of MW3 to
Oh,
current COD now. I mean, I
the
can
best
hear
game.
those hit markers in my
Yeah.
head and, grabbing tags and
The
that
AA-12.
yeah, that game was great. And if you could rebuild that game, res up the game, it'd be awesome. But there is something to say, like on the other side of a new COD. There's always that hope, that they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it, but that's the thing. It's either they're gonna do it and put out like a banger of a game, or they go back and like rebuild the game, like you said. But there's also that chance that they fuck it all up.
Uh, well,
And,
and
like
if they fuck
I
it up,
don't know
that's
what's
really
worse. Like,
I think if they fuck it up, then that's really, like that's I don't wanna say the death, I had to stop myself because it'll still go on, but that'll be almost an unforgivable sin,
yeah,
where you're like, "Bro, we handed you the ball. We
yeah, yeah,
we picked you up, we put you over the net, and you still took the ball, went and,
yeah.
like, threw it off to the side." It's like, "Bro, we have no respect for you anymore." And I think people were I was for sure with Assassin's Creed. I was worried as shit about that. When they said they're doing it, I'm like, "Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
'cause yeah,
Ubisoft. Like, here they go again. They're gonna go and they're gonna ruin this game." But to everything that you and I have just said, and, it'll really matter when the game comes out, but it looks like they're taking this very seriously because they know it's really do or die, you
mhm,
know? No one the that game franchise, has fallen so hard,
mhm,
and it's through no fault but their own, you
yeah,
know? You
that's the
look
thing.
at you look bro, I can't remember the time, but it was like they showed from when AC1 or AC2 came out, and then it was just like AC2, Brotherhood, Revelations,
Yeah,
3, Black Flag, Unity. It's just like year after
banger,
year
banger.
after yeah, but then you could see it's like as it went, it was like banger, banger, slightly less banger, slightly less
Yeah,
banger. Black Flag, yo, you guys got godlike timing,
yeah,
insane game, and then like, okay, now we're back on the downhill trend, and I think, I mean, it was just because they kept doing it so much, COD's switching off cycle has helped for sure, but they're in
mhm,
the same boat. They may need a little quick revive to like get them back up and be like, okay,
mhm.
people still want to play our game. They just don't want to play our game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Ubisoft, they had it in the palm of their hands, right? And they were releasing, great game after great game. I would say AC3, that's when some people were like, eh, because of the
Yeah.
character. But I
Yeah.
loved AC3. I
Yeah.
thought Connor was a dick, but I
Yeah. Yeah.
loved the mechanic of AC3.
Great. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, great game.
and then Black Flag, great. Unity, I played it once. Honestly, I don't really remember that much from Unity, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I know there are a lot of bugs in the beginning. I didn't get it at launch, so I didn't experience
Yeah.
that. But but it was coming post Black Flag, which love that game. So it was kind of hard to beat. But then after Unity, what it was Syndicate. I enjoyed Syndicate, but it didn't have the I don't know. It didn't have like something where I could grasp onto.
Yeah. Well, and that's like and for me too, it got worse and worse as the Assassin's Creed go on from there, until they had the big revamp and they did the RPG style, which was great. But
Mhm.
then they once again they beat that to the ground, you know.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty it has been in the same kind of boat too, where they did a big revamp. MW 2019, it's their most successful COD ever, whether you like it or not. But then they started following that and going really heavy into that until people started to pull back. And now they're left in this state of confusion where they
Mhm.
don't really know what their game is supposed to be because of just all the different sides. But I think having a COD that is like most people can get behind and say is a really good one, having that as your baseline, that might be a move for them down the line. Um, it's not going to be 2026. It could be 2027 because 2028 we've got the movie. Unless the movie's going to be Black Ops 2, that's all the story is.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't know. I just thought it was something, and people listening to, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, I'm curious to hear about it and wonder if that would be the move because we'll have to see how Assassin's Creed does with this and how Ubisoft does because I do really think that this could be something that a lot of um, struggling game developers they could learn from is
Mhm.
having one of your old standbys, treating it with the respect that it deserves, and bringing it to a new audience who's never played Black Flag. Um, that could be a really good way to kind of light a fire back into your series or whatever you may be because it's a win for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and also too, it shows, you know, I'm sure creating that game and bringing the original creators there to help out with it. I mean, you got a lot of passion to come back and rework a game that you already did. But also to your point with in front of a new audience, I'm sure it's going to do well. But now you can really see, all right, there, our audience has aged a lot. Now it's a new audience. Is this same style of game that we just rebuilt is it gonna be the exact same hit that it's gonna be? And the
Mhm.
numbers will tell that. You know, I mean, that could really prove that okay, games have really evolved now from back then. This style type of game doesn't fit with this generation of gamers, but it did back then. So how do we, now you got like real numbers. How do you adapt to that? Whereas just throwing, oh, it's a new game. Is this one going to hit? Didn't. You don't really know. This you can really see like a side by side comparison of, us at what? When did Black Flag come out? Like
2013.
2013. Yeah, 13 years ago. Um, well, we were 20, not 20,
We were 15.
15. Yeah,
Yeah.
us at 15, now at 28, playing the same game. Obviously you and I are going to enjoy it because we love that game, but it's that 15-year-old today. Are they going to enjoy that game? And this
Right.
will really, really show if maybe the gamers have actually involved. Maybe they
Yeah.
don't have the attention span that we did back then to follow a story and love it, and they want something else.
Yeah, or I mean, all those questions are going to get answered. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
They'll see if people, are talking about Edward and talking about Adewale and all the characters and the story and the ship, all that stuff. You know, um, I think it'll be a good baseline for them to kind of reset and see where they fall with favor in the community towards their games.
Yeah.
And then from there they could follow that and be like, okay, they really like Black Flag, so let's kind of make a game that's, spinning off of that slightly,
Hmm.
and I think Call of Duty could do the same. They think, okay, well, obviously people like Black Ops 2. They like what we did with this because we did actually build it up. This isn't just a reskin. Like we added our own touches. What do they think about those additions that we did? Did that make the game better? Did it make it worse? It's like, okay, made it better. All right, well, let's follow that a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, just something that I think could be something down the line for Call of Duty. They may need that bailout sooner than we know, but who
Hmm.
knows? I
Yeah.
will
And I mean,
say, now you go. Forgive me.
no, I was going to say, like, best case scenario, right? The new generation of gamers love
Hmm.
Black Flag. And now everybody at Ubisoft is like, oh, so this is the type of game that we have to create. Like, this is the amount of work that we have to do for everybody across all ages to really like this game. In Call of Duty, maybe they have in their back pocket, maybe they're working on it. Who knows? But it's like their last stand. They cannot fuck it up because if they do, they're losing like such a big audience. They're not just losing the current audience, but they're also losing all the hardcore fans from back in the day. I mean, you nearly lost us when you killed Soap in MW3
Yeah.
for no reason.
No, I agree. It's it's a big risk, but I think if they go and see from Ubisoft how they end up doing from this, it could be a page out of their playbook that they should steal, in my opinion. I think it would be a really, really good move for them. But again, it can be a risk because you have to see who's in charge of it. There could be a bunch of idiots at the helm who absolutely butcher it,
Mhm,
and then that would be the end, you know. But
mhm.
bring in the old crew. That's what we need.
Yeah, and
Bring
what would be crazy is imagine like if Call of Duty did this, but if Assassin's Creed, I guarantee you the fans of Assassin's Creed, if they had the right tools, they could create a better Assassin's Creed than like what's out now. Like a
Oh,
modded
I'm sure.
Assassin's Creed, I know for a fact people could mock up an insane storyline and it would be fantastic. Call of
Yeah,
Duty, same exact thing, but that gets
yeah.
shut down by the big man.
Give people the right tools and they could definitely do it.
Yeah.
I think so. But I'll say quick. We need to shift quickly. My laptop is on the fritz, but I want to chat quickly about it anyway. Um, we have to talk about the minor quickly, shift
Mhm.
into CDL stuff quickly, and shortly regarding it. What the fuck? No one predicted this. I think everybody going into this, definitely you and me, probably most of you listening, thought that it was going to be Optic or FaZe that would win, maybe Gentlemates. Um, Neither of them won. None of those three teams ended up winning. And the grand finals didn't include any of them. It was a Thieves Miami grand finals, which was very
Mhm.
odd to see. Uh, Good to see though from both those teams actually making it, especially with Thieves and how they've been playing poorly pretty much all year, but they pulled it out. Thieves, of course, they did go on to win it, which was that's a massive win for that team. I think morally,
Lamos.
Miami making it, yeah, right, yeah, Miami making it to a grand finals for the first time, another big win for them. Um, they've been looking good all year. I think this meta change definitely helped them. Thieves, it for sure did. What I'm hoping from this is that two things happen. One, we have minor tournaments every other week. I love seeing these. I'd rather that they play for cash and it actually means something
Mhm.
instead of them playing for nothing, like just on these random weekends that they have for qualifiers. And then I also hope too that Thieves don't just disappoint me and go back to being dog shit. I hope Thieves are a good team, and I hope they now enter the top 4 and,
Mhm.
or top 5, and they actually bring some competition to some of those top teams like they did with Optic. They 3-2'd them, almost got reverse swept, I think.
Alma yes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they did it. So they
Yeah.
beat one of the big
Yeah.
teams. So yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was a really good, event overall. What'd you think of it?
I mean, I enjoyed the minor. Again, it's always fun to watch something that's on the line, you know? And
Mhm.
I mean, are we gonna count the minor as a chip? I think yes, just because, back in the day, all the other 2Ks were 5Ks, but you gotta show up on land. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
that's what people are gonna talk about. Miami has been known to be really good online, but they show up to LAN and they just shit the bed, you know?
Yes,
They play did you watch the whole phase match
I
with them?
did.
The overload was insane. That was an 18-minute match by them.
Yeah.
And mind you, I like I threw in a couple bets for that. Dude, my emotions just I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna like," and everything went through. It was nuts.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed the minor, these. It was just really funny that it's not like they destroyed the heretics either. I don't know if you felt that. Like when I was watching the minor, I'm like, oh, this is good. But it wasn't it's not like it was competitive. Maybe competitive is the wrong word, but I didn't feel like the Thieves just stomped all over Miami. But it also wasn't close at the same time. I was like, they
Yeah, no,
won.
it was like a real back and forth. There were some matches that were pretty close, and then there were some that just were not at all.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Yeah,
And
it was a real mix.
I just hope they show up on land too, like both of those orgs, which, we know phases, we know optics gonna be. So overall, it was a good weekend. I'm glad to see. Nade wasn't even watching the minor. He was playing like CS:GO or something, and they won, and he was like, "We're really gonna count a minor, boys. I don't care." I was like, "That's your shit. That's your boss." he
I
he
like
wants
that
a
though.
big one. He wants a
I
big
like
one,
that.
which I get.
Yeah, I mean, what'd they win? They win, is it $20,000?
Yeah, it's
Um,
20K, and they got like 30 CDL points, which you know, both are really nice, but at the end of the day, it's winning on land is just different, you know.
yeah, no,
But
I totally agree.
viewing
Um,
wise, it was great, right? It was
yeah,
good to
it
see.
was Yeah, it was really, really good to see. I had to pull it up quick because some of the matches themselves here were regarding them. It was 250, 199 for the hard point, then 6-3 Miami in the search, then Miami 7-6 in the overload, 250, 161. And then the last couple as a search as a 6-2, and then the overload 5-2. So like some of those matches in the beginning, the two that they ended up winning, they were pretty close. Same thing with the first hard point. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was a pretty even match.
Yeah.
Obviously I think Thieves are for sure the better team between those guys. And Thieves should dog walk that team with the
Mhm.
players that they have on there. But um, despite all that, I would say again to what you had just said as well that it's so much better watching as a viewer. I got more excited to go in and watch these matches. When I got on Sunday, I'm like, oh shit, dude, the matches are today. So this is grand finals. Like I'm excited for it.
Mhm.
Even if it's just an online tournament, that's still how I was thinking about it. As opposed to this weekend when they're gonna have matches, I'm not thinking about it that day. I'm just thinking, okay, yeah, we got Sunday matches. Hopefully they're good ones. Like, okay, look at that. It's going to be G2 versus Cloud9. Okay, now I'm going to watch that one. That's
Mhm.
stupid. But then, okay, we got Optic Miami. All right, cool. I'll watch that one. Or it's Miami or Optic and Boston. I don't know if I want to watch that one.
Yeah.
The matches really don't have as much weight to them when they're just qualifiers. So I think
Yeah.
I like these minors, and I'd rather them keep this format where they just have it, at least one during these major tournaments. They throw in a minor tournament, and
Mhm.
I think it would make it would be a lot more enjoyable. Be a
Yeah.
good
They
break.
they should throw a minor in like every major, like
Yeah.
during the qualifier. I mean, and that leads to format changes, which we've talked about. I feel like everyone's talked about. The format needs to change.
Hmm.
And Daniel Tsay, the commissioner of the CDL, he went on the flank, which I will say I really appreciate that he hopped on a platform like that to
Hmm.
talk about the CDL, because at the end of the day, the commissioner, he could just not say anything. He could
Right.
hide behind the screen and just say what he needs to say, and that's it. So I'll give him props for actually going on and answering questions, even though it was a lot of like running in circles with a lot of the questions, or a lot of his answers. But I think you can tell, at least from his answers, that the CDL, they're listening at least. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take? You know what I mean? Um, and all the guys on the flank ask the right questions. Daniel, if you want to come on to the COD Casuals, we're open to it. We won't ask those federal questions. You can be
Right.
yourself here. You can be relaxed. Um, but formatting change was a huge topic, you know, and he answered it well. I his question of how do you define success? I didn't like that one that much because it's subjective to a lot of people. But I think it's very clear what success is when the fans are speaking, right?
Hmm.
But I do understand where his mindset of this is a business at the end of the day, and we have to be afloat. We need cash coming in, or this all goes to shit. And maybe that's what some people want, but they're I think what he said, like they're actually profitable, like they're bringing in viewers. Oh no, sorry, not profitable, but they're growing. Um,
Yes.
and that's good at the end of the day. You want something sustainable. Um, those metrics could be, flexed because of all the watch parties and that, but I understand like his mindset, right? It's like if you take that mindset and apply it to like money, let's say, if you have $100 in your bank account, you can't go spend 99 of those dollars on something, and now you only have $1. You know, you have $100, you should go spend like 5, $10 on something, and then you wait until your next paycheck, you get another $100. You have to be sustainable. You can't just like go all in on one thing and then potentially risk the entire franchise. Um, which is I feel like what he was trying to get around to, but he was going in circles a lot in a lot of his answers, I will say.
Yeah, and it's for sure, he has to play the PR game.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously he has bosses that he has to appease, and he can't say everything that's on his mind.
Mhm.
And I'm sure some of it too is that's just how he feels.
Mhm.
He just maybe doesn't agree with what the pros want on all of it because he's kind of in a different, you know, ecosphere when it comes to like people who talk about Call of Duty and what they think it needs.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it was good to see him on there and just see someone from that area of COD talk about it. They did bring up a lot of good points. I think they, they obviously could have made more progress if it was off stream and they actually talked to him like a normal person instead of being like, "Hey, we're gonna ask you some friendly questions and we've got tens of thousands of people listening.
Mhm.
Let them know what you think." But yeah, when it comes to formatting stuff, I remember I think it was Aches who had said it later on in like another episode after that where some of those changes don't really require any
Yeah,
money.
totally agree.
And
Yeah.
that's where the disconnect is there's things that yeah you can understand them not making changes because it would require a big investment or and just some sort of monetary value that people in Activision may not really like or be hard fought, but things like format changes, stuff like that, um, those don't cost anything and those make the experience that much better. I mean, and look at us here. We're talking about that when they go and host minor tournaments during the majors, we enjoy that. That I'm sure, yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, against my thing right now. Yeah, that costs 20 grand to them, to be putting on that
Mhm.
event there. Um, but for me, I think that's so much more worth it. You're going to get more people that are watching it. And it's just not even if we don't look at the numbers necessarily, because the numbers can be skewed, just like you were saying with the watch parties. You're going to get people who are just happier and actually enjoying this. You
Mhm.
know, I think you would want to look at concurrent, like how long are these people actually watching?
Mhm.
Do you just tune in for 5 minutes and say, "Oh, screw it," or are you actually watching the entire time? Um, but again, all that stuff regarding changes that they can make, small changes that don't really cost much or cost anything. I think that needs to be a main focus for them. And yeah, the format is definitely at the top of that. That could be a really easy one for them that benefits everybody, benefits the pros, benefits the viewers, and it benefit the CDL because both of those two things are doing better.
Yeah, and I mean, not to play devil's advocate or like Daniel's side, it's the fact that it's a franchise model, right? I mean, he has a tough job in general because he has to
Oh yeah,
appease the CDL fans and the stakeholders, right? In this, when I agree with what Pat said, with it doesn't cost anything, but it does.
yeah,
Like if changing format, the risk and cost is the viewership. The potential of not having the viewership again is the cost, right? And you can say, oh well, look at history. That's true, but you don't know what the outcome is today. That's the problem.
right,
And the stakeholders, they might not want to risk that. They see, oh, we have 300,000 viewers total right now. Why would we change it? Um, to make pros happy and some of the hardcore fans, okay, they understand that, but the risk of going from 300,000 viewers to 200, that's way too much of a risk, and that's their cost. Um, and also too, it's corporate now, right? Like they can't just say, "Oh, change this." dude, they have to build out a PowerPoint. Like Daniel, a PowerPoint has to be built out with like all these numbers. It has to be shown to him. And then he probably has to go and present it to the stakeholders and be like, this is why we want to change this. And then you have to wait X amount of time for all of them to agree. And then they can get the grand final format to change in the next year, you know? Um, it can't just happen like that. And I do not envy his position at all. Like, I get in the back of his head, he seems like a very logical guy. It's like, yes, it makes sense, but business wise, it just doesn't make sense. You know, like his risk tolerance level isn't matching to what, you know, his heart feels, I guess, you know, and what the pro players think. Because I totally get both sides. It's just it's so hard at that level. The changes that cost nothing, I completely understand that, but imagine changing these league matches, which I do think they should change and be like minors or like pool play tournaments and stuff. That's a whole overhaul of the entire format. And it's free to do it, but a whole plan has to be built out for that.
Yeah.
Which I
Now,
think is what he wanted to say and come out and say, like, this is the truth, why it takes forever. But he can't say that.
Yeah, and I would say, like, closing on, the biggest thing that people learned is there's a big difference between the business side
Yeah,
and, like, what your heart wants, you
exactly. Yeah.
know?
Ben
Like,
gets it.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
and
that's just the way it is.
yeah, and I think a lot of them, you know, they get it on varying levels, but it's sometimes it's there's a disconnect with like the viewers like you and me who maybe
Yeah.
see that and just think that he's a shill and he's, you know, making a whole bunch of these fatal mistakes, which like can't really argue with, you know, or I'm not going to waste my time on that, but you have
Mhm.
to look at what is going on right now and the fact that yeah, Call of Duty is a massive entity with billions of dollars that are being like put in or at least involved in Call of Duty some way or another. And there's people that don't want to lose their money and they have a lot of control. And
Mhm.
they probably don't know shit about Call of Duty,
Mhm.
you know, but you have to appease these people. And if you want to go and bitch about that, it's like, welcome to the world, my friend. This is the
Mhm.
way it is. Like, unfortunately, this is just some of the shit that goes down. Um, so I don't, I think it was a great sit down. You know, if you haven't listened to it, definitely go and give it a listen. It's a great one just to first off witness it, him actually talking with these guys, which is kind of a rarity. And yeah, even though he does, you know, speak in circles quite a bit through it, you do if you read through some of the lines of his talking and filibustering, you do
Mhm.
get some bits of truth or at least a reality of what's going on at the top as to why some of those decisions are made. So I thought it was overall very insightful. So
Yeah.
it was cool, but yeah, don't envy that guy at
Oh
all.
no. Yeah. Like I think I truly believe he is getting the changes done. It's just taking a long time. Like you really have to sell this, you know, and
Yeah,
he keeps talking about numbers a lot. That's what the stakeholders look at. Numbers.
that's what they
Not how the
that's what
fans react, like the
the
numbers.
numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers.
And last thing from that conversation that I thought was like a huge step forward is we always heard, oh, you know, get these pro players to talk, get these pro players involved. They're retired now. Like, who are the best players or best people to talk to that understand the scene? Retired pro players. And
Mhm.
Daniel's talking about, well, there is a committee that was just formed this year, and someone on this episode's on it. Sam was on it, and
Yeah.
he provided his input about like maps and you know what he thinks of the league. And I love that because that means they're listening. You know, they're not just willy nilly like a lot of the you know. I hope a lot of people are trolling when they say this, but like they don't just have a bunch of randos making these decisions. They're finally involving retired pros or pro players that know what they're talking about. And I think Sam is a great person for that because he's super level headed. He asks the right questions. Um, and he's not like throwing out like his emotions. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he knows how to respond back. He'd make a perfect corporate person if he didn't play Call of Duty. But, I'm glad that he's involved, which means there's a group of other, retired pros or whatnot involved in this, which is a huge step forward.
Yeah, I agree. It absolutely is. And I think if they have that relationship with those retired pros and they continue to, as as other pros retire, and they kind of bring them in and give their input and take their input, that's going to help out competitive COD massively down the line.
Sam, Ray,
you need those people. Those people, they're going to disagree just like the pros do right now, but you need people like that who have played the game at that high of a level and understand it, because I hear them say it all the time, like Parasite's like COD is COD. COD is COD.
Mm-hmm.
COD is COD. Even though when he won back in BO2, it's like, bro, it's still the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, like the main things that need to be in there, it's always going to be the same. But you need people who have the experience to really talk about that on a competitive level. So
and the
I'm
value
glad
add
that they're doing it.
On top of that is they have the experience, but now they're a viewer too. So they get best of both worlds now. So that's why you need them to provide insight.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a really fair point. Yeah, we look at the game way different because we don't play at that level. You know what I mean? We understand some of the stuff that's going on, but there's a huge disconnect between us just as viewers compared to players, and vice versa. When they play, they're not really, they don't think about the game as how we watch it. So it was great to see. There's a whole bunch of points that they hit on in it, which again, you go listen to it if you haven't already, but no, I thought it was a really, really good one. So I was happy to see it. We hope some good comes of it, or we hope at least that we see more stuff like this, and these people maybe get put on the spot a little bit and they have to kind of, make shit happen. Because COD needs stuff to happen, Justin.
Yeah. Daniel, come on.
Do the remaster, bro. I'm telling you. They'll find something, but I think that does it for this episode. Again, we covered a whole bunch of stuff here, talking about our nostalgia bits. Do let us know when we talked about the golden era of gaming. Do you agree with me? Was 1990 to 2000? Was that the golden era?
I was just going to call us an unk.
Did you grow up without Wi-Fi?
Were you born?
Yeah, right. Let us know. I'd be curious to see what people say about that, or if they have any stories. If you do have any of those stories that like we did, be sure to just leave a comment on YouTube, and be sure to go and subscribe over there as well while you're at it, because we love to see people just interacting, and we're going to probably put those into shorts. So if you're going to be following us like the shorts, go to TikTok, go to the Instagram at the COD Casuals, since we're posting there all the time. And be sure to give us a follow over there, since it helps out with the support. 5 stars always on all platforms. We haven't shouted it out once or mentioned it once this episode. The Discord. Be sure to join the Discord, since we're always in there. We just had all the matches going on. We were there talking with people regarding the minor. So if you want to be part of the conversation, just go and join. We'll have the links down in the description. And I'm trying to think of anything else other than this obvious: anchor.fm/COD Casuals on all streaming platforms. I think that closes us out, doesn't it? Or am I missing
hit us with the follow, because
hit us with a follow.
We need to get to 1,000 followers, which
that needs to be our new Discord chant, bro. We go, follow us. Hit us a follow. But no, honestly, like giving us a follow, it supports us more than you know.
It's free.
Supporting us on all the platforms. Yeah, you don't got to pay for anything.
Yeah,
it helps us out. It's going to help us grow, and then again, more people in the Discord, more people talking the bullshit. That's what we want at the end of the day. All right, but I think that does it, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. So again, everyone, thank you for listening to this episode number 272 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike.
I'm Justin.
And we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.